We interrupt this program for a first alert weather update.
Hey there, I'm meteorologist Anae Scales here with meteorologist Elise Ushman with me behind the scenes, and that's because we're looking at a tornado warning now stretching across parts of Yazoo into Holmes and also Atala County. This is a tornado warning amidst several severe thunderstorm warnings that are also marked for tornado possible. But once again, the warning that we're looking at right now, Atala, Holmes, and Yazoo, it includes over 18,000 people, and this is going to be until 10:30 p.m. Now, a tornado has not been confirmed at the moment, but radar has indicated that we could see a tornado in formation right now into the central part of Yazoo County. It looks like the rotation will be just south of Yazoo City that we're looking at right now. Yes, when we move this on, this is our velocity that we're looking at, and right now we see that the rotation, it seems to be near the River Road area that's in Yazoo County. It's south of Yazoo City, and that's what we're currently looking at the moment for this tornado warning. Once again, it has not quite been confirmed at the moment, but we certainly are tracking a strong area of rotation. If we can kind of zoom out a little bit and get a better idea of kind of where this is oriented. So yeah, this is pretty much just north of the Valley community near Yazoo City, just outside of Yazoo City. So especially if you are in the southern part of Yazoo City, you need to be careful right now. This tornado warning, the area of rotation looks like it's pretty much just south of the Yazoo City area. And the storm is going to track towards the north and the east. That's at around 40 miles per hour. Yes, if I'm correct. That's the length, the speed at which this storm is traveling right now. And the way it's going to be moving it towards the north across parts of Yazoo County.
It's moving a little bit faster now than earlier. We got 55 miles per hour on this particular storm. We're moving northeast, 55 miles per hour. And again, yeah, like Anae said, that's right there at the just south of Yazoo City. So we're going to put a storm track on it, update the speed really quickly so that we can get a good idea of where it's going.
Yeah, I'll try to get some cities in and see down the line what you guys can expect for timing. So yes, we put the storm tracker on that rotation. You can expect that right near Yazoo City proper by around 9:36. So within the next couple of minutes, it's pretty much right over you guys. And then by the Pierce Crossroad, 9:47, the Coxsburg area, 9:53, and then looking closer towards 10 o'clock, Brosville, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and Pickens closer to 10:03 as this storm continues to track north into parts of Holmes County and then further down the line parts of Atala County as well. Once again, this is an area of rotation that we are tracking just south of Yazoo City that has prompted this tornado warning that we are seeing for now until 10:30 p.m. And outside of that, we're even seeing some severe thunderstorms that aren't necessarily currently warned for tornado at the moment, but they are areas of rotation that I think are worth noting. If we can go back to radar for a second and then look at the other areas, you see lots of warnings, pretty much a line across the area stretching from around Issaquena County towards north out of our viewing area even. We have other severe thunderstorm warnings across other parts of Holmes County, and that is because we're seeing multiple areas of potential rotation. If we could go to velocity and look on this storm that's to the north, that has prompted. I'm trying to find the area of rotation within that one. Thankfully, it looks a little bit more broad. This is for the northernmost severe thunderstorm warning that is in Holmes County, but I think this is the area that we're talking about with that one as well. It's outside of Chula. That rotation, this is what we're looking at, and this one does not have a tornado warning on it, but the severe thunderstorm warning right now is showing tornado possible. This is outside of Lexington because there's also an area of rotation. So if you're in the Lexington area, the tornado warning that you're currently under is for an area of rotation that is south of Yazoo City right now that's tracking towards the north and west. However, if we kind of look a little bit further towards the north as well, there's another area of interest. So a lot of things to watch. We're looking at these kind of notches where you can see the green kind of stretching out into the areas of red. That's tracking, the colors are representing the different direction of the wind, the toward winds, pretty much the winds that are coming in towards the radar that we have in Brandon. Those are green, the away is red, and what we're looking for is kind of these notches, the area where you can see the winds kind of rotating around each other. So you see the green bulging out this way, the red going this way. That's the area of rotation that we're looking at. We have one in Lexington, but the main rotation that has prompted this tornado warning that we are butting into, unfortunately, the football game for is because multiple areas of rotation, but the main one is further towards the south. That's the one that we're looking at pretty much right over the southern part of Yazoo City right now. And once again, it is going to continue to track towards the north and towards the west as well. So we're seeing this storm going to be approaching near the Pierce Crossing Road area within the next several minutes. But once again, right now, we see the strongest area of rotation pretty much over the southern part of Yazoo City. If we could kind of zoom in and get kind of an idea of the street view where we're seeing this the strongest area of rotation right now, it seems to be South Washington Street is where we're seeing a lot. It is really close, pretty much right under the area of rotation that we're looking at the moment. In the southern part of Yazoo City, also West Madison Street, you're going to be impacted by this strong part of the thunderstorm as well. And it's going to be moving towards the north, towards the Gatemouth Moore Drive. I believe that's how we pronounce that one. What we're looking at, once again, southern part of Yazoo City, right under an area of rotation that we are tracking that has prompted a tornado warning. We don't have a confirmation yet. However, a tornado could be imminent in the area where we are seeing this rotation. The main one over Yazoo City, although we are still seeing lots of strong thunderstorms, especially north of I-20 across much of central Mississippi. If we kind of zoom out and get a broader view and just go to radar for a moment and look at some of these other thunderstorms, just so we can see kind of a lot of areas where there's the main line and then the areas bulging out. That's where we see the stronger thunderstorms. That's what's prompted the warning. Of course, not only the one in Yazoo County, but also another warning, or not tornado warning, but tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning for the Lexington area as well, or I should just say the greater Holmes County area, especially towards the eastern part of Holmes County, as the storm is now centered right near the Lexington community. That's the severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible, but the tornado warning that we have is for the cell over Yazoo City. So we are looking at a broad area of some severe thunderstorms. And can we move over to the hail tracker for a moment? Because we definitely know, so there is confirmation on the tornado warning that's just coming in. And are they talking about any reports in the chat, at least, or is it just a radar confirmed because of potential?
Confirmed. So we've got a tornado debris signature with that storm now, and that's going to follow behind where the actual potential rotation is. So right now you're seeing that debris ball just south of Yazoo City, but keep in mind that you need to be in your safe place ahead of that, because that's where we're going to be seeing that storm move. This is a little bit behind because it's picking up debris that's been lofted into the air. So if you're in the Pierce Crossing area, you need to be in your safe place right now. This is likely much closer to you. As you get further to the north and east near Ebenezer, you need to also stay in that safe place. Anyone within this warned area needs to be in their tornado safe place. And quite frankly, if you're in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings with this tornado possible tag, you also need to be in your safe place. Now, this has not gotten into the metro area just yet. I know there's a lot of people out doing activities on this Saturday night across the metro. We do still have time before it gets here, so you have time to get home and get settled. But if you're in areas far north of Interstate 20, as you get closer to the southern delta, that's where we've got the most action right now, and of course this tornado warning.
Yes, like Elise was saying, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings with potential rotation, but of course this is the strongest storm that we're looking at the moment, as the area of rotation that we were looking at a few moments ago over the southern part of Yazoo City, now we see it kind of moving more towards the eastern part. It might be easier to look at if we take a broader view, but what we're looking at right now, the eastern part of Yazoo City, that is the strongest area of rotation at the moment. It might be easier to look at it as well on debris tracker. That ball that we were looking at a moment ago, that is an indication that the storm has lofted some things into the ground, whether it's parts of trees or other debris, and that is now coming up on the debris tracker, that pretty defined circle that you see, the oranges and greens out of the sea of red. So unfortunately this has shown a tornado debris signature. That's why we're going confirmed with this tornado warning. So definitely stay in your safe space if you are near Yazoo City, especially the southern part, the eastern part. But like Elise was saying a moment ago, these things happen after the fact. In order to detect debris that has already been lofted into the air, it already has to be lofted into the air. So if you are near the Pierce Crossroad area, for sure this storm is going to be headed directly towards you. And once again, there is a debris signature on this storm, so that means that we have already seen some things lofted. It's likely that we've had a tornado touchdown south of Yazoo City, and putting another tracker on that, as this storm is still moving around 55 miles per hour towards the north and east. In a few minutes, Pierce Crossroad area, Fort Dyke as we head towards around 9:54, and then towards the Lexington area is where, if this area of rotation, and we should pretty much just call it the tornado now because of that debris signature, if this holds together, it would be right near the Lexington community around 10:07, and then looking down the line to McMillan around 10:12, 10:15 near the Durant area. So this storm is continuing to track towards the north and east, so it's going to move out of Yazoo County into parts of Holmes County. So definitely, if you are in this area, you need to be in your safe place. Right now, this is a confirmed tornado warning. The tornado that we are tracking would be pretty much right in this area towards the east of Yazoo City, and that has been confirmed because a debris signature has been detected over radar. So while for the moment, I don't believe we've had anyone spot this one at the moment, but of course it's really dark outside, so it's definitely a terrible time to try to go outside and look at anything. That's definitely not recommended because we have the radar that has confirmed that there is a debris signature. At least there was as the storm moved over the southern part of Yazoo City. So very important to stay weather aware. Although thankfully this is looking at our latest scan, and the debris signature, it seems less clear, but storms, especially supercells that are embedded within these lines, sometimes they do this process called cycling where they'll kind of weaken for a moment, but then they'll strengthen back. So the severe, or I should say the tornado warning, it's still in effect right now for parts of Yazoo County into parts of Holmes County. So it's really important to stay weather aware and definitely stay in your safe space. If you are in this area, that is that confirmed tornado warning. That's the white box that you can see outlined from Yazoo City all the way north into Lexington, or it's easier to see this red box. It looks like it was just downgraded. That tornado warning?
That just is because of our our software here. But I do want to tell you that the National Weather Service office here in Jackson is saying that if it continues with this trend where the debris signature is more diffuse like it looks right now, then they will downgrade it back to a base tornado warning from the confirmed tornado warning that it is right now. But for the moment, it is still a confirmed tornado warning in Yazoo County and heading into Holmes and Atala counties. So stay in that safe place. Even if they downgrade it, it doesn't matter. Stay in your safe place until we're clear of this storm. And again, stay in your safe place in these other areas too, where we're seeing potential for rotation and dangerous thunderstorms, because those also are bringing trees down, can bring limbs down. We've got dangerous, damaging wind gusts associated with those. So just wait until you get done with this main leading edge of this line. Now, I do want to tell you too, this is only the first of 2 rounds of storms that we could potentially see. Later on, it may converge into one line of storms, but if we can bring the radar back up, there is another line of storms behind this one that's still in Arkansas and Louisiana that's going to be pushing into the southern delta as we head into the next few hours. So we're going to be here tracking it for you the whole time. I'll send things back over to Anae so you can continue tracking this tornado for everybody right there on the screen.
Yes, and just like Elise was saying, it's really important to reiterate, even though we only have one tornado warning right now that has been confirmed, there are multiple areas of rotation, and that's why the other severe thunderstorm warnings that we have stretching from the northern part of Madison County, Yazoo, in the southern part of Yazoo County, all the way north into much of Holmes County as well. If you are under a even tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning, it's very important to be close to your safe area where you could take shelter, because we could see the rotation kind of strengthen, and pretty much under the thunderstorms that we're looking at right now, with the rotation and the instability that we have in the atmosphere, it only takes a matter of seconds for a quick tornado to kind of spin up and potentially touch down, like what we believe likely happened south of Yazoo City, where we had that debris signature come up on radar. Although thankfully on our latest scans, we have seen that the debris signature no longer evident, but it is likely that we did have a brief spin up tornado, and we certainly are still looking at a tornado warning, because just within the last couple of minutes we saw a debris signature on the storm. Can we try to go to storm relative velocity and get a look at that rotation, which you can tell is still holding together towards the eastern part. It's east of Yazoo City now, moving into the northern part of the county. It's going to be crossing over into parts of Holmes County shortly. So it's kind of getting in, it's outside of the Benton area. Actually, it'll be a little bit towards the north of the Benton area, but this rotation that we are looking at, it doesn't have a debris signature at the moment, but it had as it was moving towards the southern part of Yazoo County, or Yazoo City, I should say. So it's really important to stay in your safe place as we're still tracking a potential strong area of rotation. And even outside of the tornado warnings, like Elise was saying, we could have some straight line wind gusts, potentially 60 miles per hour or greater, and those could also cause damage. So it's very important that if you're in the area being impacted by these thunderstorms, to stay safe, stay indoors, and just be weather aware as we go throughout the evening. We could take a broader view and kind of look at some of those other areas that are seeing warnings. And further back towards, we're seeing even behind this, I believe it's parts of Issaquah County or the southern part of Sharkey County that we're looking at, that is also in a severe thunderstorm warning that is marked tornado possible. And although we don't have as broad of an area of rotation there, it's still important to keep in mind heavy rainfall and potentially strong damaging wind gusts. And we should look at the hail tracker for a moment as well to see if some of the storms could potentially have some hail that's up to the size of a quarter is possible with some of these storms, but thankfully what we're looking at right now, mostly just penny-sized in areas that have already seen the storms pass through. But that is a lower end threat for today, but it's also a possibility with these thunderstorms. But of course, the main threat right now that we are looking at is a tornado warning. That is for the northern part of Yazoo County and moving towards the north into parts of Holmes and eventually even parts of Attala County. But if we take a look at that rotation right now and see kind of where it is at the moment, it still looks pretty strong. You can still see that defined kind of notch where the outgoing and incoming winds are kind of rotating around each other. Yes, just like this area of circulation that Elise just put on, where you can see that it's towards the east of Yazoo City, and it is going to be moving kind of north of the Berryville community and crossing the county line pretty shortly within that next couple of minutes. And we can put on a tracker so to give people in Holmes County a heads up for when this area of rotation is going to be right over you. It's still moving at around 55 miles per hour, and we will see this near the Brosville community, 10:04, and near UMMC in Holmes County. That's good. They have some markers up there, things that people can recognize. It'll be near that area at around 10:12, and then if this continues to hold together by around 10:20, the Durant community, Hoffman closer to 10:24, West at 10:28 as the storm continues to track towards the north and once again through Holmes County and to potentially parts of Attala County if this rotation holds together. This is currently a tornado warning. Thankfully, it's no longer confirmed because we haven't seen a debris signature for the past couple scans, but we can look at that again because the rotation is still holding together. Even though we aren't at the moment necessarily seeing a strong debris signature, we still see over that area, if we can kind of go back and forth between the rotation and the debris signature, these little orange specks, or that was kind of yellow, that's where we would expect it to be because of the position of a rotation, or it's close enough that it's definitely something that you still want to keep your eye on. Because like we were saying earlier, a debris signature is something that happens after the fact, because in order for it to be lofted into the air, tornado has already touched down. So you definitely don't want to wait for confirmation if you're in this warning area, because by the time you get that confirmation, unfortunately, some of the damage has already been done. So it's very important to stay in your safe place as we have this tornado warning. Not only that though, but as we take a broader view across central Mississippi, especially north of I-20, we are looking at a broad area, a line of potentially strong and damaging storms. We have lots of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, ranging from the southern part of Issaquah County all the way north towards Attala and Holmes. And this entire line pretty much is warned right now. And although not everyone is seeing potentially a tornado at the moment, most of these, pretty much all of the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have are marked tornado possible, because we're seeing that rotation, we're seeing the strong damaging winds potentially, and we have the instability in the atmosphere, that it is very important to keep your eyes on these storms for the potential of a quick spin-up tornado. But even outside of them so I know that 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are some things that we have tracked with the earlier storms, but I'm just wondering, at least if for the chat, if we have been seeing, or what are the other reports that we've been seeing for some of these other severe thunderstorm warnings. A tornado marks possible tag is on most of them, but wind gusts so far that I have heard has been 60. Has any greater than that?
No, I haven't seen anything greater than that. All these saying maximum wind gusts of 60 miles per hour associated with these particular severe thunderstorm warnings. Yes, again, they do all have that tornado possible tag on them. That doesn't necessarily mean that you will see a tornado, but they are going to continue that tag on these storms because of the way that this line is moving. And it's the same way that this particular storm that we're tracking in Yazoo County is moving, where we have that rotation associated with the line. Now, I do want to give you the heads up here that you have the clear in Yazoo City. You're no longer under the tornado warning. You are still in a severe thunderstorm warning, and they're trimming this back even more. So fortunately, you're getting done with the worst of the weather in many places right this second, but we do still have some rotation that we're tracking. This is just south of Pierce Crossroad and to the north and east of Benton. It's going to continue its trek to the north and east, headed toward the Ebenezer area, Holmes Community College. This will likely track north of Pickens, but you are in this tornado warning, so you need to stay in your safe place too, kind of making a direct beeline for Durant. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it will make it there or that we even have anything on the ground anymore, because this rotation, the debris tracker, not really showing much of anything to look at, but the National Weather Service is continuing this tornado warning until
was it 10:30? Is that still, or they extend that?
Trying to find it. They are continuing for right now until 10:30 p.m. Yeah, so they are continuing to trim it as we see this rotation move out of areas, which is great news for you. So that gives you an idea of where it's at and, of course, where it's headed. If you're still in the warning, then you need to stay in your safe place. And we've got another area that looks like it could kind of be showing some maybe rotation, because this is looking a little messier. Notice there's a secondary notch. This one just to the west of Ebenezer, and I'm seeing a little bit of some brighter colors there as well, but we're going to keep a close eye on this. In any event, it's still in that same warning, so anyone within this tornado warning needs to stay in your safe place. And I want to give you a rundown here if you're confused about where your tornado safe place is. Since most of us here in Mississippi do not have basements, that's going to be an interior room or a hallway. Get away from windows. Put shoes on before you get in your tornado safe place in the event that something happens and there's debris when you get out of that safe place. If your safe place is a bathroom, get in the bathtub and cover your head. If you have a pot or a helmet, a bike helmet, anything like that, go ahead and put that on your head as well when you get in your tornado safe place. That's also a good rule of thumb for people who are not dealing with any bad weather just yet. So we've still got a ways to go with this severe weather event. Again, there's another line of storms back to our north and west that's also going to be tracking this direction. So we've got kind of a long night ahead of us. We are expecting these to eventually merge together, which would actually be good news. It may lose some steam as that happens. It gets kind of overrun by the cold front, but for now we do have really robust storms across a good portion of areas north of Interstate 20, and this is tracking ever closer to the metro area. So as you get ready to head home from those events, go ahead and get to where you're going. Know where your safe place is. There is some potential that maybe this dies down a little bit as it gets closer to the metro, but for the moment we still have another good 30 minutes of dangerous weather in areas as you go further to the north. And again, a tornado warning ongoing for parts of Yazoo, Holmes, and Atala counties. Now, this storm is not into Atala County just yet or into Holmes County. It's going to track into Holmes County first, but will eventually maybe make its way to Salis, and then Durant. You guys are kind of right on the line, so a first alert for you there as well.
Yes, and we do see the strongest area of rotation right now, seemingly crossing the county line into parts of Holmes County at the moment. If we could put on our velocity to make sure this is exactly the area of rotation, It does look a little bit more misaligned, and that is actually a good sign if we're seeing less organization within this storm. The area of rotation that we're tracking, that you can see that couplet, is further back just north of the Evans community where we're looking at the rotation. But then when we go over to our radar, then you can see that the actual bulge that would usually be associated with that located a little bit further towards the north. So it's looking like a little bit less organized with this storm, and that is a good sign, at least for as far as the potential for another tornado forming. However, we're still under a warning. It's still very important to stay in your safe place. Really glad that we went over that a few moments ago. What is a safe area to be? Of course, an internal room in a house. You want to have as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Stay away from glass as well, because you don't need to have a confirmed tornado to have wind damage, especially in these type of events that we're looking at where we have strong gusts up to 60 miles per hour. That can also cause damage as well. And whereas we looked at the safe place graphic just overall a moment ago, I think it's also an important time to touch on mobile homes. That's something that you also want to avoid this evening, not only in a tornado warning, but also the numerous severe thunderstorm warnings that we have across the area. Even straight line winds could potentially cause damage. So if you could kind of find your way to a site-built structure or close to a tornado shelter, that is something that's really important to keep in mind, not only for the tornado warnings that we have, but also severe thunderstorm warnings as strong damaging wind gusts. Not somewhere where you want to be in necessarily a mobile home. It will be more safe to be closer to a site-built home or a shelter throughout the evening. But for now, what we are looking at with the tornado warning, we can still see kind of the strongest part of the storm now moving out of Yazoo County. Now that's actually in the southern part of Holmes County. So they are going to continue to shave back the warning and exclude more of those areas that have already passed the strongest. And we can take another look at that rotation. Yes, we're still looking at that near the Evans community. But just like Elise was saying a moment ago, with the new kind of area of rotation that is looking a little bit more interesting, I would say it is this that is kind of just north of the Holmes County line. That is this new area of interest, this kind of notch where we see that green color seems to be getting more rotation than what we were tracking a minute ago. But either way, we are still tracking the potential for the formation of a brief spin-up tornado within the warning that we are tracking, that is now moving into parts of Holmes County, and extending that out further will eventually be tracking into the western part of Atala County as well. That's still included in this tornado warning that for the moment is going to last until around 10:30. We can see we certainly, along with the strong damaging wind, we have seen a lot of lightning tracking with these storms as well. And we've paid a lot of attention to north of I-20, the most northern counties in our area, because that's where the strongest storms are. But it's important to note as well, we have a tornado watch still in effect for pretty much most of the region. If we kind of zoom out and include all of the counties in that area, in that watch, it's almost all of us.
They have gone ahead and canceled that warning since we continued with that trend.
Yes, that's really good. So thankfully we are no longer seeing a tornado warning across central Mississippi. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings that are tornado possible. So be sure to stay weather aware. I'm going to keep my eye on that, as well as meteorologist Elise Ushman. But now that thankfully we no longer have a tornado warning confirmed in this area, we can go ahead and go back to programming. But we'll keep our eye on this system as it continues to move.